Whoa. Stop! Don't come any closer. It's a girl. Girl! Oh my gosh, girl. I'm sorry. No, blonde hair. I've just never seen a girl before. Who are you?
Daisy, you and Tom Holland shot this movie at an extremely different time in both of your careers. If you'll excuse the pun, you'd just taken your first steps. Can you reflect a little bit on how it feels to have this movie releasing at this point in time and what you took away from working with Tom?
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because you're not the first person to ask me that. So now I'm thinking about it more, but in the grand scheme of things, I was just like, oh, this is great that this is finally coming out. But yeah, a lot, I guess, has happened. It's strange because honestly, timing wise, it feels great that it's coming out now. You know, it's very, a lot of the themes are very serious and it's a big warning as to what happens when you let differences get in the way of things. But also it's hopeful and it's a fun film. And that I think is what we all need.
Yeah, I think we could all use a little bit of fun right now, and the movie certainly has a lot of fun with the noise and how that manifests. Yes. It was definitely one of the most entertaining parts. Viola's the only person that Todd's met that doesn't have the noise, and most conversations end up kind of spiraling out of control because of that. For you as an actor, what kind of challenges arose out of having to keep Todd's inner and outer voices straight, and which does Viola end up giving more weight?
I had Doug screaming at me the whole way through, so I was always really responding to the noise a lot of the time. But I guess the hopeful thing between Todd and Viola is that Viola chooses to see that Todd doesn't really mean everything he's thinking. Like the kiss moment's so sweet, he doesn't really mean it. He's so embarrassed. And ultimately, he's like a really good, sweet character. So I think in the end, she sort of takes him as he is, noise and all, and that's the best thing. I think there isn't a division for her between the noise and him because it all sort of makes him up. But it's wonderful that they, you know, the message really is that you can figure things out.
Strange to see everything you're thinking. You know, it's strange for me too, not knowing what's going on in your head. I mean, I don't know, you might not like my dog, or you want to hit me over the head with a rock or something. I like your dog.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the noise, which is obviously this really interesting device that you've got in obviously the novel, but in the movie here too. And as a device, I can see it being really well suited to a novel because each individual reader would sort of have an idea of how that manifests differently. And I imagine narrowing down how it would look on film must have been tough. What were some of the challenges that you and Doug and the team came up with in realizing the noise, how it looks on screen?
Well, it was the biggest challenge because that has to be the thing that works in this film, because you know that's the key. It's the key point about how all men's thoughts are on display all the time, and the core theme of that is how messy our thinking is. So how do you capture that without it being confusing, without it being too much, without it being too much of a roar? And so there were lots and lots of discussions of the degree to which it would be, but also what it would look like. And they solved it in a number of different ways. Like there were 360-degree camera shots, there's animation, there's, it's all acted, it's all written, and then editing it in. And there's a scene where Tom Holland is walking up a hill after Daisy Ridley, and he's thinking all these kind of grumpy thoughts about her racing ahead. And you just see them sort of being cast off the back of his head into the camera. And that to me is kind of amazing and perfect, and not something we've seen very much of ever on screen. So I was excited from the beginning and curious, but it's a whole huge combination of things just to get it exactly right.